Hi. Yep, everything's working. The sauna is here. So we're down to just one person in the office. That's me. Maybe next week you'll see someone else, but they also will be alone. We all stay at home and we all work from home, and there's not much in terms of changes. Thankfully, the tools that we use, they're all cloud-based, so it's all online anyway. And for some of us who prefer to work from home, there hasn't been much of a change. So today I'll brief you up on what has been happening in the last week and what sort of results we have yielded. First of all, we finished working on the icons for all the skills, and in the new system of skills we have 10 skills. So let me go first and let me first go through that. So if you played the game last year in November and in December, you may remember that there's been 14 skills, I think. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 skills. Okay. This is a huge board that Monica uses to design skill items. You can see how we went from alchemy and artificing, and there was astrology, and yada 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 yada. Lots of work done here. That has been, I think, something like literacy. And then lots of work on astrology, which is not in the game as a result. Here you can see a bunch of travel magic icons. It used to be travel magic. It's no longer travel magic, as you will discover later on. Here you can see healing coming into play. Artificing starts to change. So here you can pretty much see the icons that we used in the last months of last year. So alchemy didn't change much. Artificing changed. Astrology was out. More concepts, more work. Here, for example, you can see different travel magics. We've played a lot with this symbol, trying to color north and south. But anyway, we ended up with this. Here you can see a new round of iterations for artificing. That's the one that we settled on. More work on travel. And finally, that is more or less where we've been last year. So what changed? Let's go. Yeah, here you can see a snapshot of everything that was pretty much locked down. What changed is that we've lost alchemy, artificing, and healing, as well as literacy. These skills are now in the Spire, used by the relevant rooms, and we only have geology, herbology, and astrology, which are what we call the collecting skills. Then we got travel and communication. They've lost magic, so it's just the skill of traveling and the skill of communicating. We've got a new skill which we used to call adventuring, but then realized that maybe that's not the right way to call it in English. That has been related to basically creating illusions, diversions, and being smart about overcoming certain obstacles. So that skill is now called guile. Combat became a skill of its own. And then 3 magic skills: distortion magic, creation magic, and destruction magic. You can see here that we start iterations with the magic skills. We're also looking for something for adventuring, and looking at the actual in-game actions, we think, okay, you know, it cannot be just thievery or lockpicking. It cannot really be. It has to be something more gentle. So here we iterate between someone, you know, showing you a coin and then disappearing with the coin, or someone showing you tricks, or someone sort of stealthily going around the village, and we settled on these juggling balls. Astrology, as we started working on this, we looked at this icon and we realized that, well, the animal seems to be blind. Here you can see that the animal is smoking. Even though if you look at animals like elephants, then the eyes are a bit different. And we still struggle with the magic here. After that, we decided to give up on the colored versions and focus a little bit on the black and white versions, which is a bit of a simplification as we start looking at the shape. For distortion magic, oh my god, I mean, different ideas. Here you can see changing apple into orange and orange into apple. How do you communicate that? I mean, these three icons have to be within the same family, but at the same time, you should be able to understand what that is. So here we go through different options for distortion, and the top two are basically reflections of the magic symbol in the 4 parts of the prism. For guile, we also look at different color options for the balls, and everyone wants to go with the red one. And then for creation magic, out of all the different symbols, we settled on the swirl. And for destruction magic, we realized that nothing works as good as the old good explosion. So here we go then. We've moved a little bit the balls, because this is how you'll see the icons in the game most of the time. It's a short context menus on the world map. Distortion magic gets this shape more or less approved. Creation magic is the swirl. And then with the destruction magic, we struggle a little bit. Like, it looks too static. So here again, looks like a mine. Maybe this is better, but this looks a little bit like a virus. Creation magic is a swirl for sure. And then for distortion magic, lots of different options. Here you can see that we try to unify the 3 magic skills with the same sort of size of the magic icon in the middle. And then we're almost done here, so we'll look at these options. Like, you can see that while destruction, like, there's lots of different destructions, but everyone loved this. For the swirl, I think the only question was really how green do we want that to be. But for distortion magic, we had, well, at least 3 main contenders. Kind of a shift, something like this, which basically takes one image and then splits that into several. So this is how distortion works. Or the old good reflection in the prism. And we also run a lot of designs on the small scale here, so you can see that you're not really getting confused as you choose certain actions. We ended up with this runners-up, this guy here, and then here we play a little bit with the depth of reflections. And here you can see more references and where it's coming from. Even though we almost settled on this version, in the end, when we did the small scale tests, we realized that this is what works. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the 10 skills in the new game model. It's been stable for the last couple of months, so this is what you'll see when we ship the playable build in a few weeks from now. Geology, herbology, and astrology did not change. The animal got better eyes right here. Travel is now travel, communication is communication, combat has attack, defense, and self-control. Guile is all the shady stuff that you do, stopping short of criminal activities. And then the 3 magic skills, it's distortion magic, creation magic, and destruction magic. We call them more or less magic schools, and I think that's relevant. Now, let me go back to the studio. So that's one thing. The other thing is that, if you remember, alchemic substances, they are used to pass skill checks. They're used to temporarily increase characters' skill. And we created the concept of 7 professions. And each profession has its own substance and its own item. 3 levels of substances as they get stronger, 3 levels of items as they get stronger. Each item and substance affects 3 different skill checks in different skills. So as an example, the list of professions is like this: a destroyer, a pilgrim, a forager, a ranger, a rogue, a sage, and a seeker. And then you will have elixir of pilgrim or powder of sage. So that is as far as the substances go. And then you'll have the items, and the items are broken into totems, I think dream catchers, and some special curios. So crafting an item will allow you to use it during skill checks and improve your skill by 1, 2, or 3 points every time you use it. And then with time, the item veers out. Creating a substance allows you to do the same, but raises higher, 2, 4, and 6 bonus points, and lasts longer. In addition to this, we've got alchemic substances that restore your health points, remove your poisonings, restore your magic energy, improve your luck. Improving luck is like a skill check bonus that works for any kind of skill check. So it's like a joker card. And then the powder of resurrection. Obviously, I mean, no need to explain what this means. So that's what we've done there. Once we finished with this, we reworked alchemic properties. So if you remember the old system, then alchemic properties used to be somehow related to the items, like greasy, antiseptic, and so on. The problem we faced is that it was pretty difficult to build exact associations between the resource in the world and the property. We kept running into non-obvious connections, and it also limited us in how we develop this further. So what we've done is we've transferred to more abstract properties, and now we have common properties: luck, knowledge, persistence, decay, energy, and nature. We have uncommon, which is sorcery, power, life, and death, and rare, which is chaos, order, and balance. So that's the new alchemic properties. Here's a question from the chat, which is whether or not we're going to do an art book. With the previous game, we've done a 100-page art book, and we've been pretty happy to do it because that summarized all the different iterations. With this game, we're doing the same thing. It's going to launch at the same time as we do a general release. We have a special member of our development team who's really good in laying out different books and let's say creating that sort of things. He worked on the previous art book, and he's going to work on this art book. There's a ton of art, including stuff that is in the game from last year's version, but it's not going to be in the new game, from inventory items to things like scrolls and ancient books. So all of that is going to be available, and no promises right now, but I think that we'll see what we can do in terms of bundling that up together with a limited early access version. Now, currently, what we're doing is we're reworking the crafting system, so we will soon have a new list of crafting properties. And once we're done, we'll finalize the connection between the real-world resources and the recipes and then the items. Now, let me show you. Can I show the game? Let's see. Yep, it's very good. All right. So, switching over to that screen. Yep. So this is this morning's build. Probably could crash. There are some things that I need to explain to you. First of all, look at the party. That's the new party selection. So you can see this huge one that makes it easy to find your character. So let's zoom out. Andrei already did a lot of discovery, exploration of this world. So let me show you the strike ranges of different creatures. Why I want to do this is to show you that most of the territory is covered by this or that creature. So it's not gonna be a walk in the park as you move around. In the current system, here you can see the snake. If we enter this hex, I'm gonna have battle. If I stay on the yellow spot, then I'm going to be attacked in the next turn, as this is a strike range. Let's go to somewhere here. Okay. How about I move here and here? Okay. Next turn. Creatures are moving around. Here you can see the animation for poisonous clouds. We already started having certain spells that have an offsetting event where you kill creatures, but in place of those creatures, you end up with poisonous clouds, which is not good. Okay, end of turn. There you can see locusts. Where are they? Yep, right here. Little buggers. If I pass through the hex, I will have battle with them. Okay, so let's go to the old good giggler and see if I can survive the attack. And here are rules and their nests. Let me go here. And end of turn. All right, so these guys are attacking me. What are my choices? My choices are two. It's scare them away or sneak past. I somehow don't have the option of defending myself. I don't know why. So scaring them away, that's up to level 6. Everyone is level 0. Well, here you go. So what will I get? I'll get a bunch of health point damage and probably one of the guys will die. Sneaking past gives me probably the same result. Yep, a damage of 13, so I don't really see how much damage I'll take here, but that's a problem of the interface. So let's try this. Yeah, everyone's alive. Okay, so that's fine. And I will go here. That is the poisonous cloud. But somehow I am now foraging. Okay. Ooh, let's do it. Okay. And then what I really want to do is I want to go and show you an event with locusts. Dun dun dun. And again, I got foraging. Okay, well, let's do foraging. All right. That's a lot of stuff that I've got there. Okay, so the bloodsuckers. Scare them away, avoid bites, or use creation magic to call a rain of frogs or something. So let's do the magic thing right here. Okay, magic leads to 100% success, and let's see. I think something got broken here in the build as I can no longer access my party or the inventory of my party. All right, so maybe it's time to reboot the game. Lots of damage taken. Okay. And let's reboot the game. So you can see that the build is coming together. It takes some time as we work through the systems and create new content. Visually, change that we currently work on. Yeah. Okay. Can I see the inventory? Not really. Okay. So the current visual change that we're working on right now is to remove these icons. We don't really like how they clutter the screen, and what we're trying to do is to get rid of the frames, so you will see these items in the real world. We'll see if we're successful. I think we should have there's already some screenshots on the Discord server, and we should have some news next week. Now, where does this leave us? Working in the heart of the game, making the content for events and for everything that's relevant to your everyday experience. Mostly getting ready to start translations, which is always a good sign, as we start translation only when everything is in the game and we're certain that that's not going to change. And we've got about 5 events in the game out of 30 that we plan to have. So that, in my mind, means that maybe we're about a month away from launching this on the beta branch of limited early access. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So thanks for following the fate of the project. I hope you guys all stay home and you can work from home or study from home, and that you guys all stay safe. But we'll see you next week, and then in a few weeks' time, probably before the quarantine the whole lockdown is over, we'll be able to ship the game, so you will have some entertainment as you sit and work from home and sort of think about what's going to happen. See you next Wednesday.